Hey, Ezra here, and I'm behind the scenes at the Amazing Selling Machine Mastermind in Aruba. This is a mastermind that Matt and Jason from the Amazing Selling Machine put on, and it costs $10,000 to come to this 3-day retreat in Aruba. And it's a bunch of people who predominantly have products on Amazon that are doing very well. And I'm going to take you around and show you behind the scenes of what's going on, but I want to just tell you a little bit about what's going on down here. So these are folks who are doing really well with their products on Amazon and have the desire to get off of Amazon. You know, they still want to sell on Amazon, but you know, when you're only on Amazon, you are dependent on that one channel. And as we know, it's not a good thing in business to be dependent on just a single channel. You know, Google, a lot of e-commerce people were dependent solely on Google, and the algorithm changes came, and they got in a lot of trouble and they lost a lot of their business. And so these folks want to get off of Amazon. So Matt and Jason flew me down here, and my wife Carrie, who's filming this, and they flew Gaur Chowdhury and Steve Gray, who are also awesome media buyers, down here to teach their community how to buy media profitably and send it to your own sales funnel instead of sending it through to Amazon, so that you have an additional channel of traffic besides Amazon. So I'm going to share with you the one thing that I've been talking about that is working super well for me. And it also happens that Gaur and Steve are both doing the same thing. So let me take you behind the scenes, show you around a little bit, and then we'll come back and I'll share with you what that one thing is.
Let's bring back up Ezra and his new hairdo.
So we're going to give people love today, and when we do it, I'm going to count to 3 and we're all going to clap. Okay, that's how we're going to give love. So 1, 2, 3. So Matt and Jason, one more time. 1, 2, 3. That's what I'm talking about. That's how you clap. Hey, here we are. We are no longer in Aruba. We're in Brooklyn. In front of my whiteboard, I actually have the apartment that we're in right now that you can't see, and then I have an apartment upstairs where I live. So this is my work loft. And I told you I was going to show you the one thing that I'm doing in my business, the one conversion model that's working really well for me. And it's actually a bit of a funnel. So I drew it out for you so that you could see it too. So let's go over it now. So it starts, now remember that this is off of Amazon, right? This is, you've got your product on Amazon, you're selling well, and you want your own sales funnel to go to your own shopping cart so that you can keep the lead, because when you sell a product on Amazon, you don't keep the lead, they keep the lead. So you don't get the email address, you don't get the phone number, you don't get any of that stuff. You get the phone number, but you don't get the email address. So the first thing that we have to do to get off of Amazon is look at an additional source of visibility, because what Amazon is it's a wonderful source of visibility. There's a lot of buyers who are going to look for products to buy on Amazon, but we need an additional source of visibility, and I'm going to recommend Facebook as probably the simplest one to get started with, and also it's an incredible source of traffic. You can get really targeted on it, and you can drive a lot of volume with just Facebook. And the second best one is probably Google AdWords with the Google Search Network, the Google Display Network, and YouTube ads. But we're going to say Facebook is your form of visibility. We do a lot of Facebook in our business. Now, under the visibility category, we've got 3 things. We've got our targeting. So that's like who we want to get our message in front of. So if we're selling Chihuahua collars, then we want to get our, I don't know if there's chain collars for Chihuahuas, but I think there probably are. We want to get our message in front of Chihuahua owners. So the first thing is targeting, and Facebook lets you do that, and you can get pretty deep with it. And as I mentioned, source, that's where we're running our traffic in the first place. So in this case, Facebook. And ad creative. Now, ad creative is like the thing that this group of people see. It's the first thing they see. So you're on a source, let's say Facebook, and you've targeted a group of people, and now they're going to see some form of messaging from you, an image banner with some text. And with ad creative, that's really the first place that you're getting in front of someone. So you want to make that catch their attention. You want to use images that are eye-catching and headlines and stuff like that. So with the visibility side of things, we've got our source, our targeting, and our ad creative. Now we drive our visibility. Here's what's different. Most people would go straight from their visibility over to this O over here. And this O is an offer, but we're not going to go to the offer first. We're going to flip that around. We're going to go from our visibility to a piece of engagement. So we're going to engage someone in a story. We're going to build a relationship with them before we try to sell them something. We're not just going to send them to a page where we're trying to get them to buy something. That's the old model. And that model still works. It's okay. We do it sometimes. But this model works much better, and I'll explain why. So on the engagement piece here, we're engaging someone in a story about someone's life or about someone's experience. It's much better if it's about someone, right? So if like you send someone to a page and you're like, hey, you know, I'm John and this is my experience with this product. And I'll tell you how to write these pages in just a second, but we call these pre-sale pages because it's a page that you go to before you sell someone. It's a page that you go to engage them in a story. And these pre-sale pages usually have some kind of psychological trigger. It could be fear, it could be curiosity, it could be humor, it could be shock and awe, it could be desire, it could be all of those psychological triggers. But the goal is to get someone engaged in a story and get them thinking about why your potential product might be good. And we're going to come back, I'm going to list out how I write these pre-sale pages, but it's an article. It's like you're sending someone to a blog post, and it's just an article that then alludes to what your product is on the next page. So I'll tell you how to write those in just a second. One thing that you want to remember on the engagement page or the pre-sale page is to put a pixel, so a retargeting pixel, so that all the people who come to this page who don't move on over here to the offer, so all the people who you buy from your advertising source who end up on your engagement piece that don't make it to the offer are now going on what's called a retargeting list, which you can set up really easily in Facebook, which allows you to come back and target them with ads and send them back to this page. So the next step, after you've engaged them in a story, built a little bit of a relationship with them, and told them about what your product is, then you move on to the offer page. And don't worry, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to tell you exactly how to write this page so that you're writing engaging pre-sale pages that actually do move people over to an offer page. So next we have the offer. There's a couple things with the offer, right? We also want to place a pixel on the offer page. And the reason we want to place a pixel on the offer page is because we want to, we're placing 2 pixels on the offer page. The first one is a conversion pixel, because this allows us to say, we bought 100 clicks or 100 visitors from this visibility source who landed on our engagement page or our pre-sale page. If we place a conversion pixel over here, we can say, what that means is basically it just tracks how many people made it that far. So we can say 20 of the people who we sent here made it to the offer page. And then we can tweak elements on this pre-sale page to try to get that number higher. Because our goal with the pre-sale pages is to get someone over to the offer. So we place a conversion pixel that allows us to see in our advertisement how many people are moving from engagement to offer. And we place a retargeting pixel because we want to be able to retarget all the people who made it to the offer page differently than we want to retarget the people who made it to the engagement page. Now on this page, if you do your job well, if you write a compelling sales page, which is like, you know, the features and benefits of your product, why it's good, you know, all that stuff that you already know because you have a physical product, or you might not have a physical product, but you know, you probably are familiar with what a sales page is. It's just, you know, communicating. All marketing is messaging and communication. It's just communicating why you believe what you have is valuable to the person who's visiting your page, and they will be relevant for your offer because you've targeted them properly over here. So if you do your job well, which you will, they'll turn into a lead and you'll make money. And this is the difference already, right? On Amazon, we don't get any of this. We don't get we get a lot of cool stuff on Amazon. I retail on Amazon. I love Amazon. But at some point, you're going to want to get off that platform. And when you do, this is what you want to do. So you don't get that lead. You do make the money. But what's cool about having your own funnel is you can then go to an upsell if you want, which allows you to get maximize your average order value. Because one of the things that you can do to grow your business is instead of getting more customers, you can have a larger transaction size each time someone buys from you. So with this model, you can do an upsell with Amazon. You can't do an upsell, so it allows you to be able to spend more to acquire a customer because each customer is worth a little bit more. So you can do an upsell, you can do a downsell if you want, and then what you do is you deliver value. And so when I say deliver value, what I mean is like you've generated visibility from some source of traffic. You've engaged them with ad creative. You've sent them to a pre-sale page where you engage them in a story about someone's life or about someone's experience that then moves them on or recommends a product or an offer. So then you have your offer, you generate a lead, you make a sale, you send them through an upsell, downsell sequence. Now you deliver the value. And the value is like the product itself. It's having a thank you page after they buy so that tells them what to expect. It's having a pre-arrival sequence. So before your product arrives, they get a couple emails about what it is and what it's going to be. It's like really taking care of the person who's just spent money with you. That's how you deliver value. And then you move on to the follow-up sequence. And the follow-up sequence is content. So it's more engagement. I do a blog, but you could just do little emails and articles, pieces of content. So engaging with that person who has bought from you. And if you want, you can do a live event sales funnel. So it's like a webinar, some kind of an educational thing. And then the follow-up sequence just goes right back to more engagement. And that more engagement could be in the form of a blog post, which goes back to additional offers. So it's just like this circle that just keeps going. And this model is doing super well right now in all of our businesses. And we often will even do visibility source to a pre-sale page straight to Amazon when we're trying to boost and rank our products on Amazon to start. And then as soon as we're ranked on Amazon, we'll move this instead of, so if Amazon's over here, we'll start there. And then as soon as we're ranking on Amazon, we'll move over here to our own offer. So that's the model. It's visibility source to a piece of engagement, a pre-sale page. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you quickly how to write that pre-sale page, and then you'll have the whole model. So on the pre-sale page, this is what we want to say. This is one formula that works really well for pre-sale engagement pages. So first you tell them who you are. So like, hey, I'm Ezra and I am a diet expert and food detective. So you just like let them know some reason why they should be listening to you. Like, are you an authority in that space? Have you had an experience? Or maybe just who you are and where you're from. You just want to tell them who you are to build a bit of a relationship. Then you tell them your experience. So, hey, this was my experience in X, Y, and Z area. And that's where you explain the problem. So most products are sold because someone has a problem. And if you can get really good at explaining that problem, you'll get really good at selling products. So in your experience portion of it, if it's not your personal experience, perhaps it's like a client or case study or testimonial of someone who's used your product's experience. It doesn't have to be you on the sales message or on the pre-sale page. It just has to be some true story of an experience with your product. So this was my experience. I was out of shape and I wasn't feeling good because of what I was eating, like all of the problems that are related to your product. And here's why that's relevant to you. So the next thing after you explain the problem is you tell them, this is why it's relevant. It's relevant to you because we're the same type of person, or you want to feel better in your life too, or whatever reason it's relevant to them. And when you're explaining the problem and you are putting the relevancy in there, you want to use authority. People respond to authority, so you can use science, you can use authoritative figures like the government or some form of authority. And then you say, hey, this is what happened for me. So this is what I did about it, and here were my results. So hey, this is who I am. I had this experience. Here's what I did about it. These were my results. That's this part of it. And then you tease the solution. So you don't tell them, and I used this product. You say, I found this really cool thing that really helped me, and on the next page, you can check it out too. Or you just kind of allude to what the solution might be, and the way they can find out is by moving on to the next page. So now what you've done is you've changed the framing. It's no longer you're sending people from a visibility source to something you're trying to sell them. You're chasing them to sell them something. They are now interested in what it is you have to sell, and they're going there of their own accord. So you've kind of flipped the psychology there, and now that person is interested in the product because you've engaged them in a story that has them interested in what that product will do for them. So that's why this works so well, is because it gets people on board with your product before they even see the sales message. So you can use a WordPress blog and lead pages for this. You can design the pages yourself, and that's the pre-sale formula. So if you don't have a product to sell already, then check out the free software there'll be a link above this video that you can click where you can download Matt and Jason's. They just put out this cool free software where you can go in and see all the best-selling products on Amazon and how much it could make you each day. So I'll put a link to that above this video so you can go check it out and get their free software. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll catch up with you soon. Fundamentally, the success of your offer is going to depend on how this page does, right? okay, just putting your rent car button. So that we were like, what can we optimize to make that happen?